more men than women have had non-surgical procedures like Botox in the last 18 months. That's according to a survey that recently came out of Australia. However, there is still a big stigma about men getting work done. 30 years ago, nobody in male media was talking about this. Even 10 years ago, it's unlikely you would have seen a male YouTuber discussing this subject. But it's time we discussed head-on the world of cosmetic procedures and Botox for men. The aim of this video is not to tell you whether you should or shouldn't do anything, but instead I want to give you some factors to consider and show you some examples of what might happen if you opt for cosmetic procedures. And in this video, I'm going to focus on procedures done to the face rather than body implants or those rather terrifying leg lengthening surgeries that we've seen recently, because procedures for the face are much more common and easily accessible. So let's get right into it and look at the art of aging well. Most cosmetic procedures are done with the aim of looking younger, and regardless of what you think of women who have Botox and fillers, we can agree that youth is universally appreciated as a mark of beauty for women. But for men, it's not as simple as that. Women almost universally find older men more attractive, and male beauty isn't dependent on looking youthful, rather strong and accomplished. It begs the question of why a man would attempt to look younger rather than embrace the natural charm of aging. Surgeries and filler aside, aging well for a man is pretty simple. Keep your hair on, your stomach flat, and your downstairs hard, and you're doing pretty well. Two of those factors are almost entirely down to your lifestyle, and one of them is genetic. Where things get more nuanced is when men feel insecure about things like wrinkles, sagging skin, or perhaps a particular feature like their nose or ears. If you want an example of how to age like a fine wine as a man, look no further than Pierce Brosnan. The former Bond actor has had no work done whatsoever. We can all agree that he's blessed in the hair department, but other than that, his face shows many signs of aging. The 70-year-old has heavy wrinkles, the skin under his jaw isn't as tight as it used to be, and he has sunspots on his forehead. But these all contribute to his charm and what makes him attractive as an older man. If you are looking for a reason to never go under the knife or needle, Piers is it. And of course, the way he dresses and looks after his body also go a long way. However, there are also examples of men who've clearly had a little surgery, but it seems to have worked well for them. This is all speculative because generally, celebrities are very secretive about any work they've had done. But in these examples, many fans and experts agree that it's very likely they've had these procedures. So George Clooney is believed to have had a blepharoplasty, which is an eyelid lift. George, like myself, has very hooded eyes, and as you get older, the skin on the top lid can start to sag. However, I don't think Clooney's surgery is noticeable at all, and because he's left the rest of his face alone, it looks very mature and natural. Obviously, Clooney is the gold standard when it comes to good-looking older men. But notice how his hair, physique, and his style also contribute to this image. It's not all about the face. David Beckham is also believed to have had numerous surgeries, but perhaps most obviously a hair transplant. I think you can see from these side-by-side photos of him why that was a good idea. Much like Clooney, Beckham is a great example of a good-looking older man. But his face still looks natural. He has signs of aging like crow's feet and wrinkles. These imperfections really add to the character of his face, and to smooth them out would be a mistake. Now let's take a look at some cases where men have taken things too far, and I'm sad to say that this is more so with younger men. Again, much of this is speculative, but lately many Ryan Gosling fans believe that he has had cheek fillers because his face looks much more puffy and full recently than it did before. And that's a shame because Ryan definitely looked better without the injections. It's a shame that a handsome man in his early 40s would feel the need to do that. Joe Jonas is one of the few examples of men who is open about his use of Botox, and he is even the brand partner for an anti-wrinkle injection brand. Maybe being in a boy band gave him a Peter Pan complex, but I don't understand why a 33-year-old man would want to have such babyish, smooth skin. This is the age when you really start looking like a man, and your natural wrinkles are part of what gives you your distinguished look. But with the injections, Joe Jonas looks like he is trapped behind the mask of a teenager. I think this is the question you should ask yourself before doing any kind of cosmetic procedure. Am I doing this because it will create a genuine improvement that no lifestyle changes could create? Or am I doing it because of insecurity or peer pressure? Before considering any kind of procedure, I think you should do everything you can to look your best naturally. That means exercising and eating healthily, using sunscreen and sleeping well, even changing your hairstyle, dressing better and increasing your social confidence can make just as dramatic improvements and much less risky improvements than anything artificial. However, if there's still something you think could be improved, I don't think men should feel any kind of shame or stigma about doing something that makes them feel more confident. Cosmetic procedures have a bad reputation, but perhaps that's because we only notice them when they've gone badly. With the right cosmetic treatment, nobody should be able to even tell that you've had something done. Unless of course you're changing a feature that's very prominent but you've always disliked. For example, maybe you've always hated how much your ears stick out and you decide to get them pinned back. I can totally understand that, and even though the change will be noticeable, it's still natural. All of this got me thinking about whether I would consider any kind of procedure in the future. One I would absolutely do if necessary would be a hair transplant. Your hair changes your face and your overall appearance dramatically. Just look at these photos of Pierce Brosnan where he wore this balding hairstyle for a role. He's totally lost his silver fox charm and he looks like a different person. I think there are many examples of men who can pull off the bald look, but I know I'm not one of them. Perhaps one day I would consider an eye lift, just like George Clooney. I do have very hooded eyes and I hope this won't happen, but there's a possibility that when I get older, they could become very heavy and start to sag. However, I am absolutely staying clear of Botox, fillers, any kind of injections, even for decades to come. When I lived in LA, many people in my social circle had this kind of stuff, even men, but I never understood the appeal. I think wrinkles, crow's feet, lines, they make you look more charming. A man with no lines on his face has no stories to tell. Gentlemen, obviously I am very interested to hear your opinion on this topic. Do you think hair transplants, surgeries, or fillers and Botox are ever a good idea for a man? And if any of you have had any procedures, I would love it if you could share your experience with us in the comments. To my mind, aging well is all about elegance. It isn't about staying eternally young, but rather embracing aging gracefully and leaning into your maturity. If you would like to learn more about what it means to be an elegant man at any age, you can check out my video here where I discuss the looks, personality, and lifestyle of elegance. Thank you for watching today's video, gentlemen, and I'll see you in the next one.